March Madness has arrived, and for college basketball fans and sports fans in general, this is the best time of the year. But for those of us NBA draft fans, this isn't just about the brackets or the Cinderella stories. We get another dynamic as well, and that is the Ultimate Talent Showcase. March Madness is where the lights are the brightest, and it's where the top prospects in the country have all the eyes on them, and in turn, have the chance to either cement their status at the top of the board or leave scouts with more questions than answers. We've seen it time and time again. A deep tournament run can take a mid-first round talent and vault them into the mid-lottery, while an early exit can amplify concerns that were already being discussed under the surface. This year's class is particularly strong with some elite game-changing talent, and today we're going to break down the 5 names you need to keep a close eye on as the tournament kicks off. This isn't necessarily just my top 5 prospects overall, though top-tier prospects heavily occupy this list, but the 5 players I'm most interested in watching this March. So with all that, let's not waste any time and get right into it. LeBron Phylon, Alabama. Starting us off at number 5 is LeBron Phylon. Now, if you're looking at the consensus big boards, Phylon isn't necessarily the highest rated prospect. He's generally hovering in that mid to late first round range. My last mock having him at 15, but he is easily one of the most exciting guards to watch in the entire country, and I think he's got a chance to blow up here and become even more of a household name in the tournament. After returning for his sophomore season, Phylon has been on an absolute tear for Alabama, effectively doubling his scoring output to over 21 points per game on some really efficient 51% shooting. What makes Phylon so electric is his craftiness. He's got the ball on a string, and he's got elite start-stop pace to break down defenders. He's also vastly improved his finishing, jumping from a 54% at the rim last year to a 67% this year. And his three-point shooting is substantially better as well, to the point where now I would consider it a strength after this season. He's the engine for a Tide team that has a window to make a relatively deep run, and if he continues this level of scoring while showcasing those playmaking chops, he's going to be a name that gets a lot of buzz as the tournament goes on just by the nature of his fun-to-watch style of play. The concern, though, is the frame. He's lean at 180 pounds, and while he's crafty, he can still struggle sometimes when met with elite physical resistance. Plus, while he's shown flashes defensively, it's still swing skill that scouts aren't sure will translate. If Phylon gets exploited on defense or gets pushed around by a physical team in the first couple rounds, scouts might start worrying if his game is scalable to the NBA level, and he might continue to hover in that mid to late teens range. But if he leads Alabama on a run and quells some of those concerns in the process, the hype train can pick up very quickly. Number 4, Darius Auff, Arkansas. At number 4, we have a player who's been on an absolute heater lately, and another heliocentric guard in Darius Auff. Arkansas has had their ups and downs, but Auff has been the undisputed first, second, and third option for that offense. He's a walking bucket, averaging over 22 points per game and showing off a level of offensive gravity that few freshmen possess. He's currently mocked in the 5 to 8 range generally. I had him 7th, and honestly, if he keeps this up, he could make a legitimate case to break into that elite top 4 conversation. Auff is the best pure playmaker in this guard group, in my opinion. His vision and anticipation are elite, and he's one of the few players in this class who can hit difficult, high-leverage passes off the live dribble with ease. He's also shooting a healthy 43.7% from 3 on nearly 6 attempts per game, which is exactly the type of volume and efficiency NBA teams are looking for in a lead guard. The red flags for Auff mostly center on the defensive end. He's 6'3", so average size for a guard, and he hasn't shown much interest or impact on the defensive side of the ball so far. He's not a bad defender, but is at most a neutral right now. There's a fear among some scouts that he might be targeted at the next level rather because of those defensive limitations, but we've seen superstar guards that aren't exceptionally strong defensively still be game changers at the pro level regardless. If Arkansas gets bounced early because Auff couldn't guard anyone, the narrative around his defense is only going to get louder, but if he carries the Razorbacks through a couple of rounds, and I tend to lean that he will, his scoring talent might just be too loud to ignore, and you might see a push for Auff in the top 4. Number 3, Cameron Boozer, Duke. Coming in at number 3 is a name that everyone knows, Cameron Boozer. Now, coming into the tournament, Boozer had his worst game of the year against Virginia. The thing is, that's about the only bad game he's had as an individual. He is remarkably consistent. Duke is 32-2, and Boozer is the primary reason why, putting up a double-double with 22.5 points and 10.2 rebounds per game. The floor for Boozer is probably the highest in the draft. I just can't see a world where he isn't a productive pro, barring injury issues or something. He's a consummate winner with a mature body and a high IQ game. He's a magnetic rebounder and an advanced passer for a big man, often finding teammates with pinpoint outlet passes or great half-court vision. Just an exceptional connecting piece and can take over if needed. If Duke goes on a dominant run and Boozer looks like the best player on the floor every night, which he tends to do, he absolutely could establish himself as even more of a front runner for the number 1 pick. However, the questions regarding his ceiling still remain. He's not a dynamic shot creator or a guy who's going to beat you with elite vertical athleticism. If he struggles against a team with a hyper-athletic front court, the questions of his superstar ceiling won't go away, but given his track record and his general status as a consistent force at the college level, I wouldn't bet against him. Productivity is king, and he's basically been the most productive player at the NCAA level all year. Number 2, AJ Deansa, BYU. My personal favorite prospect in this draft class right now is AJ Deansa, and he takes our number 2 spot here. Deansa is the definition of electric. He's a 6'9" wing with a 7'1" wingspan and the kind of fluid athleticism that NBA scouts love. He has been carrying BYU this year, averaging 25 points and nearly 7 rebounds, showing that he can be an alpha on a team that, while good, isn't quite as loaded with talent as a team like Duke and the team that Cameron Boozer's playing with. The appeal here in watching AJ Deansa is the individual prowess. Deansa can create a shot nearly at will, has a shifty handle, and a dangerous pull-up jumper. He's a two-way threat that can pick up full court and pressure smaller guards, which is rare for a player with his offensive usage. If BYU makes a run, it's going to be because AJ Deansa decided to take over, and that kind of individual carry is exactly what can earn you the number 1 overall pick. The con for AJ is the shooting consistently. His shooting is already at about 34% from 3, so not exceptional, but he can have some really cold stretches where the efficiency dips. In a single elimination tournament, a cold shooting night can be the end of the road immediately. Now, I think AJ currently has the top spot in the draft, and if he can stay efficient and lead BYU deep into the second weekend, he might just lock up that top spot for good. Number 1, Darren Peterson, Kansas. Finally, at number 1, the player with the most to prove this March, Darren Peterson. Despite what has been a bit of an up and down freshman year at Kansas, Peterson is still firmly a top 3 prospect in my eyes. He's a prolific 6'5" combo guard who can score at all 3 levels, and when he's on, he looks like a future franchise cornerstone. He passes the eye test immediately every time he has the ball in his hands. The reason he's number 1 to watch here on my list is that he's had to battle through some durability issues, cramps, ankle injuries, you name it. Because of that, he hasn't always looked like the dominant number 1 player we expected. After being number 1 on a lot of big boards all year, the majority of them now have AJ, Boozer, or even both of them passing DP at this point in the year. However, he's recently looked much more like himself, flashing elite downhill burst and gear shifts that just freeze defenders. The concern with Peterson, outside of the injuries, is the playmaking. 1.7 assists to 1.5 turnovers on the year isn't good. There's really no way around it. And the image of him as an NBA superstar requires him to be able to make the right play, not just be a volume scorer. If Peterson can take the reins for Kansas, handle a heavy workload, show a well-rounded offensive game, and lead them deep into the tournament without any more injury scares, he will inspire a ton of confidence. At his best, Peterson is absolutely incredible, and March is the perfect time for him to remind everyone why he was the top-rated player in his class. You get a run out of Kansas with Peterson leading the way. I'd be pretty confident in wagering that he's the number 1 player off the board when the draft rolls around. So there you have it, the 5 names that are going to define this March Madness tournament and the draft narratives over the next few weeks. Whether it's Phylon's craftiness, Acuff's scoring, Boozer's dominance, Deansa's upside, or Peterson's redemption arc, there's no shortage of storylines to follow. This tournament is where legends are made and draft stocks are finalized, and I cannot wait to see how that all unfolds. If you guys enjoyed this breakdown, please be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments who you think people should be watching this March and who you think should be the number 1 pick. I'll have more scatter reports and draft content coming your way soon, but anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hey, thanks again for watching this video. If you like what you saw, go ahead and click on one of these videos here to see more.